5:30. Here we go. Trade Ideas live Q&A. Late day Q&A here hosted. I see Perfect Circle. You're already in here firing away some questions for me. Give me a second to read through and we'll take a look. All right, so my crazy question this afternoon, can you make a scan for price making lower lows, but a RSI making higher lows? We call that RSI divergence. Can you make it? No, but you have it already. So, but it's done on a daily. So right click and RSI divergence long, RSI divergence short. So the RSI divergence long is, the RSI has been moving down where the price has been moving up, and vice versa here on the divergent short. Is it possible for you to do it within the platform? Maybe. Trying to think of how that might work. Maybe using a daily RSI. The issue is, putting in multiple days of RSI essentially for that though. Because we don't have that as a data point outright. Like I said, I don't know the magic behind the Market Explorer and why there's data in that we don't have normally. So I won't pretend to dabble into there, and I can't really answer any questions as far as those things go. But you have that already in the Market Explorer with the RSI divergence for both sides, long and short, and so you can find some good names in there. And again, in case you've forgotten, Market Explorer new and Market Explorer right there under new. So, all right, a few people starting to pile in here, hopefully. And I like to hammer this away just because I don't want anybody to think that I come in here only to talk charts. Well, I don't mind talking charts. I don't mind going over the market itself. Look at the indices, the SPY, the Qs, all that. I like to build things in here with you. It's easier when you guys are coming with the questions and the comments, of course. But it's not always easy to come up with something off the top of my head here, and I don't know what's going to be relevant to what you all need to be searching or doing or looking for. We can go over some simple stuff like, building a layout, for example. We can, go over some, simple scanning. We can go over things like that. Need to buy a PC and ditch the Mac. With your Mac, I don't know how old it is, but can you try to run boot camp on it there, Perfect Circle? I'm not a Mac person, so I have some Mac ignorance. I'm sorry to say. I have a Mac. I kind of use a Mac, but most of the stuff I've done in life requires a PC, and I've always run into trouble with having to use virtual machines myself. I know that for a period of time, there were Macs that had a program called Boot Camp on it that you could run a virtual machine to do that. I know that the problem is that you can't toggle back and forth between the virtual machine and the Mac itself with Boot Camp. So, your other options, of course, are Parallels and Amazon Workstation, and Microsoft 360 has a couple of options too for you. So to kind of give you those. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Ignacio, chiming in there. I know that Michael Noss uses Amazon Workstation. He also uses Parallels too because he runs a few different things going on. I think Chicago Sean, also runs Amazon Workstation. And I know a few other people in here that don't work in support. They work in other parts of the company. They also use Amazon Workstation. So I know those work great. I know it's also can be an added cost depending on what you're you know what kind of virtual machine you're building and things like that. That's why I know Parallels is kind of an appeal because I believe it's a one-time fee. And obviously, if you don't need to toggle back and forth between a virtual machine and your Mac, Boot Camp is included. I know it's some Macs, some years. I'm not sure exactly which ones though. So again, forgive my ignorance on that. Anyway, so that's my short and skinny for the RSI divergence. We could attempt to play around a little bit here if nobody has any other questions currently. Right. I don't know. I don't know what AWS costs a month. Maybe 20 something bucks a month. So, you figure for the year, you're talking, 240, 250, $260, depending on what you're doing. I believe you can toggle back and forth with AWS. So, you're talking, depending on the virtual machine, I don't know the exact pricing, but you're talking about $200 to $300 a year versus buying a whole new computer. I don't know what pricing of things are these days. I have a Dell that I bought 4 years ago that still works pretty well. The tower itself cost me, I think, $900, and then a few screens and things like that. So okay, so you're saying the first year of AWS is free, and then I don't know. You can always check. I don't know with AWS and if there's any deals with Prime or anything like that. If you're a Prime member or anything like that, so maybe that's something to also check into. So. Um, give you some other options than just looking at getting a new PC or something. But if fire away questions again. Going to continue to pound the table for now that it's an open forum. If you have questions about the software, scanning, compare count windows, um, brokerage plus, top list, alert windows, multi windows, anything like that, ask the questions and I will answer them the best that I possibly can. If not, let's dive in for a second, asking about RSI divergence. We have something pre-built for you already. I know Michael is all about it. I haven't dove into the RSI divergence scanners yet. I've really been kind of focused on the strength alert scanner. I don't have a reason. I know that they wanted to rework something with I guess the trade management side of things. If I understood correctly, it kind of all goes above my head. I'm one of those lowly support people, so I'm the last to know a lot of stuff on the developmental side until it's ready for us to test. But perhaps that's something that they were trying to do with the exits. I think more on the exit side of things than anything is what has caused this. I'm not sure. I know it was discussed today in the meeting, and that they're going to open the AI up. Normally, they don't do that, and kind of dive in and see why it hasn't had anything met. Perhaps some over optimization or something went on inside it recently. Those are it's the best I can give you on an answer. It's kind of a bummer for me because usually I get a few swing ideas from the AI a week. Obviously, that's not happening the last few days for me. So, Chris, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Alrighty. So sorry, just answering a question here in a chat that I was involved in before this started up. Okay, so yeah, we covered AWS and all that. So all right, and like I said, back to the being an open forum. So you asked about the RSI divergence. I'm kind of shooting in the dark on this here, but let's do it like a top list first. Um, leave all this stuff here as is. Let's go. First thing we'll look at is RSI. Let's get it on a daily. All right, let's add that filter. And so we want to see falling RSI. Some thoughts start to pop in my head here. So maybe what if we had the RSI on the daily is, let's use the number 40 for now. Or sorry, we want to go a maximum of 40. All right, and then I had another RSI thought. What if we were to include a daily and a 60-minute? But the 60-minute, let's put a maximum of, let's say 30 right now. All right, and then let's look at some position and range thoughts here. Maybe position and let's look at a 5-day range. Let's add that as a filter. And that fails. All right, give me a moment here. I'll search out your email and look for another link to that. There, Chris. So position 5-day range. Let's say that we're a minimum of 60% above that. And so for anybody that's kind of joining late or wondering what's going on here, Perfect Circle basically asked in a question earlier, RSI divergence type of scanner, where the RSI is moving one direction and the price is moving another. While we have something built on a daily for that already with the Market Explorer, and in order to use it, you do have to be on our 5.5, 5.5.45, I believe, is the latest public beta. Just seeing if we might be able to put something together with a top list here. So we've come in, going to leave the price range $1,500, and then I want to see stocks that have moved up in the last 5 days but have a low RSI. And I thought, oops, that is not the 60-minute RSI. I thought that was. Let's come back here to RSI. So I used the daily RSI, and I thought maybe I'll use a 60-minute RSI too, and then kind of keep those with some near some oversold numbers or lower numbers anyways, and just see what it kind of returns on a daily chart here. So we're not sorting by anything else, and nothing. I mean, Dell, that's it. So not much coming through on this here. And we could see, no, the RSI is moving up on the, well, all right, so let's zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, the RSI is creeping with it. I thought maybe here we would find it a little different. So no, that didn't really return what I was hoping to do there. And then, Chris, for you, I'll eventually circle back to you on that here, because I'm going to have to dig around in these files. I thought that was a good file for that. Apparently I was wrong. And I might have to somehow send it directly to you, because that's supposed to come from a Dropbox. So, all right, if anybody else has any questions right now, as far as software goes, fire away, please. And that said, you couldn't do it, Chris, just because I have here, it'll let me download right now. It says files can't be previewed, but I can download it. And it's a direct download. That right there says you can't download it. Try that, see what happens there. All right, let's mess with this for another moment here in this This RSI attempted RSI divergence. Let's see. Maybe let's go with 45% above the low of 5 days just to see what that returns. No, nada. Still the same two. Let's see how that's 45% above 5 day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't seem right. Class A. Nope, not so much. All right. But, like I said, on this RSI divergence scanner here, let's take a look. Server window, RSI divergence long. Let's look at ATEC. So here you're seeing from here to here is what it would be looking at. So you got this RSI move this way overall, and the price moving back up this way. So that's what that's looking for. Go through a few of these here, see what we can see. And some of these might have come in earlier in the day. It doesn't have the timestamp on them, unfortunately. So this one, I suspect, caught this price move here with the RSI moving like that, and unfortunately gave it up. That's what the RSI divergence is looking for, though. Downloads and says server error. Okay. I'll have to keep digging for you then, Chris. I'm sorry about that. DMTK. Not so great off of this one. I see what it's trying to do here, but no. You have the RSI moving here, and you had that up day yesterday, but now a down day again today. No, there's definitely something to it. It's some other CMTs that I know through Twitter and through Trade Ideas. They've been it's been a chatter among them for a while now. This RSI divergence, so it's something that's kind of becoming popular, more mainstream, if you will. So what you see here, with this, you got this RSI move here, and you can see the price is trying to rebound here and here, even though you got down days. So that's kind of what it's fighting with there. A lot of stuff coming through here. Have to check these out more. And again, we talk about, doing your homework at night. It's how I trade, and I like to set up with quality setups, like some of these gaps that are in here too. Put some, price alerts way up here on something like this. Speaking of gaps, this is another one that Michael just added. So your gap fill up. Let's take a look at some of the stuff in here. Interesting. So this is your gap fill from up above, it looks like. This is the first time I'm looking at this window. Yep, another gap fill from up above. Oh, okay, perfect, Chris. Excellent. I'm not sure why it didn't work that first time. Interesting. But all right, glad to know it's working, and we'll catch you in a little bit then. Perfect. Interesting stuff here from this. All right, I like this a lot. I like gaps. Very interesting stuff. So, all right, this is stuff. Anybody that's on the newest beta, public beta 5.5.45. You've got this stuff in the ME here. So let's take a look at the want gap fill down. We want gap fill up, right? Nothing coming through this one today on that one. So, all right, interesting stuff. Take a look at the bull flag. I haven't looked at this one at all either, except for like the third day it had come out. Let's see here what we got for a bull flag. All right, that looks all right. That's interesting. KPTI, that's another one. All right, some interesting stuff coming through here on this daily bull flag. Not so much. That's flagging all right. Also interesting to note, just kind of obeying this 8 EMA off of this here. Touch, 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 touch. There's your flag happening. And again, I see people coming in, coming out. So if anybody has questions on the platform itself, I'm trying to keep it more towards the platform than just diving into charts necessarily. I'm just going through these ME scans to show what they're trying to do. This is a great flag right here. Beautiful. Boot. This is a hysterical stock to me. Kind of flagging. I see what it's looking for. You can call it a flag. Same here. So some really good stuff Michael's done. Last one. These gap ones are kind of blah. Not bad. All right. So that's that for the ME there. And get rid of that. Put that back on TSI strength alerts on my other window. There we go. Perfect. Alrighty, so let's see, where did I lose my menu bar? Back here. So let's see, we were building a pullback scanner yesterday. What kind of scanner should we try to build today? Any suggestions? Anybody have any thoughts? Any ideas? We go back and mess around with that pullback scanner again. I feel like I had a thought about it this afternoon or last night. I can't remember. This is that we were working with yesterday. Take a look at the history that came through this again for today. Yeah. Interesting. The SPY came through it for a pullback. It just kind of flopped around all day long. It's got a bunch of ETFs, unfortunately. I'm not always crazy about using the EPS hack to get rid of the ETFs. All right, Apple on this, 48.70. Caught the top on that, unfortunately. No surprise that Apple basically looks like the SPY, though. Again, if anybody has any ideas, can you share that one you're working on? Yeah, absolutely. So load from cloud, pull back consecutive 5 minutes. It's got a 2-minute candle in there too. I think I remember what my idea was with this now. And yeah, I'll go right into that logic. So that's the scan for now. And maybe we'll mess around with it and we'll share a second link in a second here. But all right, so what I did was in the window specific filter, I said, let's look at stocks that are up from the close, all right, from the previous day's close. Gave it a 50-cent range over the last 5 days. We're not starting 20 minutes after. Where I look for the pullback is it can't be above 60% of its high of the day so far. So that's why I want to start it later in the 20 minutes after the open to establish this opening candle and this range, all right? And then I added a 2 minute, three consecutive green candles in a row filter just to play around with it yesterday. So that's that. You could take that out. When we started building it last week, that was not in there. And I used a 5 minute high as the catalyst to make the alert. So I had to be making a 5 minute high. All right. With all that. Now I had a thought today. So that's the idea behind it, that I'm off this high and maybe I can work back to that high again. It's had some mixed results, as we've looked at some of the history. Obviously, the history from yesterday looked like garbage because, the market was down, 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 down yesterday. There's no real pullback time in it. The thought that I had for that it was like a shower thought was with the position and range and putting a 0 here and just kind of seeing what that gives us. Meaning we're not just up from the close of yesterday, but we're up on the day today itself. I suppose we could also use a change from open filter too for that, but let's use that position and range filter for now and see what that kind of returns here. Let's go back through history. Let's go through today and see if that even changed anything whatsoever. So I don't think it really changed much here at the beginning anyways. And again, we got this kind of choppy day, so something isn't going to move anyways, or isn't going to move. It's going to move in more or less lockstep with the market, and not going to find much to do with it anyways. So, like everything here kind of has that same fade look that the market's had all day long today. I'm not, trying to find that alpha. Like, all right, this one gets it, but this has earnings coming up. Had earnings yesterday, so it's kind of moving on its own a little bit, anyways, because of earnings. But not a bad alert. 50, so I got that right there. Moved up over 13. So you can see the idea what this is looking for. We're off the highs. We're making a 5 minute high. All right, so there's the catalyst. So those are your two main catalysts, and we're up obviously from the close. So, the other idea behind it is I want to know that's a strong stock as well. While it doesn't have to have had a massive gap, I want to know that the trend is my friend and we're moving up anyways. So some other ideas that are just popping in my head to try to get away from what the market was doing specifically today. Maybe let's mess with this here. Let's go with 2 consecutive candles. Let's go with a relative volume. Let's see if this thing's kind of humming today. So let's go with the 3 with the relative volume and just, again, just kind of see what it returns to us here. Maybe this does absolutely nothing. I don't know. All right, so that should change a few things around a little bit. All right, so it's got this at 220.78. I unfortunately got that right almost near the top, right around here. Just a few cents afterwards, and well, $1 afterwards actually. $1 on $200 stock though. It's kind of a risk to reward ratio. Some people like that. Not for me. Anyway, sorry, skip this one here kind of real fast. Nope, not so much there. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate that. That never hurts. Hymns. So 831. Nope, top ticked on that. Literally top ticked. Again, a lot of these are mimicking what the market did, unfortunately. So I thought maybe by adding a high relative volume, we could find something looking a little better. But this is part of scan building is what's going to work, what's not going to work. Maybe let's get a gap in there. All right, and this will adding more filters will cut down the alerts too. But let's see, we gapped up 1%. Now what is that going to do to the scan? All right, and the idea is to try to find on a sideways day like we've really had today, chopping around, something that might have been trading on its own with some strength. So a lot of the same alerts, unfortunately, coming through. We did gap up today, right? Is that right? Yeah, we gapped up. So all right, this one gets one. Let's put this one in the one column. So 29.18. So get the alert right there, and nice steady day off of that. So, and again, as I always like to say, We're trade ideas, not trade guarantees. So we're trying to return quality ideas, anyways, the best that we can, with an infinite amount of scanning ability or scanning combinations. Stuff becomes a little bit subjective as well in what people are looking for. I'm glad you find it helpful, Tom. Thank you. Appreciate that. I said yesterday, I want people to be able to get what I got out of the software. I think the more live uh, education we do, the better off people will be. And, taking the time out to do this. And like I said, I don't mind going over charts. I like going over the market. I have a real passion for all these things. I really love charts, but I don't know that that gives people the most value for their software or their software subscription. And while yes, there's a hand in hand thing that goes in where a lot of people are, new into the trading and new into charting, and having someone, go over charts, is certainly going to be beneficial. I think, making sure people get the actual money's worth out of the software and what it can do scanning wise is just as important, if not more important. So, 72, no, not much to have after that. So I'm just, I'm trying to, if anybody has ideas, throw them out here. I'll plug them in. We can do this. We build this together. We learn it together. I'm trying to find a way on like I said, on the sideways day that we could find some alpha with this. Maybe removing this consecutive candle thing. We're starting 20 minutes after. What's something that we could do to try to find something standing out on its own? I have my moments. I've been down a rabbit hole over the last few months in my back testing. Um, the two things I will caution with back testing is one, don't lose sleep over it like I do. And what I mean by sleep is just say, oh, one more back test, one more adjustment, one more optimization. And that leads to my second disclaimers. Don't over optimize. I did that with a scan I created. The scan looks so great in the back testing, and it has been garbage live. And what I mean by garbage live is that, it was optimized for what happened over those 65 days. It wasn't, it worked well unique to that specifically so far anyways. And it's been been about a month probably that I've been running it live and just not seeing it with any results. So again, back to trying to do here, maybe change from close. Maybe let's try to get a higher change from close here, zero point 0.5. And again, all I'm trying to do is build this scan with you right now, all to, generate some quality ideas here, while at the same time demonstrating how building the thought into building any kind of scan. Do you manually backtest versus? I manually backtest. I don't have a way to do it. Holly does. I don't have access to any of that fun stuff. None of us really do. Yeah, I'm talking about the 520 cross. Very disappointed in it. Like it has some okay alerts that have come out of it, but just never did what I wanted it to do. So unfortunately, a lot of these histories for today, we're finding, all right, here's one that ends up being another nice one. Um, not so much. Um, just disappointing, put all that work into back testing and optimizing. But that was probably the most I ever optimized something, to be honest with you. I really went down that rabbit hole. And definitely that was the first scan I over optimized too. So that's an all right alert. So like I said, we're finding some stuff with this. It's a choppy day, unfortunately. So I'll bring over the charts to kind of compare, and you're just kind of seeing a lot of the same stuff here. Not exactly the same lockstep, but this kind of just same kind of fade through the day here, like the SPY had. The same kind of. That was not a great drawing, but you get the point of what I'm trying to show you there. And it also goes back to, I discussed a few different times yesterday again, um, having layouts for different days. Now, is there a layout for every day in every situation? No. But when you get a day and you can see the market looks like it's going to gap up massive, having a layout for a massive gap up day where you can look at either gap and goes and gap and fades, or a day where it's going to be a massive gap down day, and then you're going to have a gap and go in the down direction, or a gap and recover type of thing too. So or maybe having you have your general layout with one, two, three scans and the way you like to chart, and then maybe you have a few scans that you load in based on what the day is looking like as well. So a very simple layout with maybe just a few things going on, and as the first 15, 20, 30 minutes develop, you say, it's looking like this kind of day, let me pull up this scan for this kind of day. Those are different ways to not over analyze things, or analysis paralysis, so on and so forth. So, again, we'll bring back the SPY chart. It wasn't a big gap up today. I don't consider that to be massive. No idea what I just did there. I don't consider it to be massive, and it never really set itself up. Established that range, came right back down, moved up, came down, and then just kind of faded, and then thought we'd get back to higher days, and not so much. But we're not going to take out lower days, and we're just going to kind of stay range bound here while the world figures itself out. So on a day like today, maybe you're looking at things, trying to look at real high volume stuff. So again, trying to get something to stand out on a day where the market is just lackluster. We continue to play with the scan here, that maybe we could do something like that. And the scan might work great on specific days, and other days it just won't really return us anything great. Hide unused. We've got some relative volume going on there. Got a minimum volume on the day. Looking at that position range. Throw a 1 minute volume on there. Above yesterday's highs, we could do that. The problem is we're going to eliminate a lot that way, but let's do that. Let's see what happens. I was going to mess around with the 1 minute volume here. So let's go with the position in yesterday's range. Position in previous day's range. Let's add that filter, and let's go a minimum. Let's go with 100 just to make sure we're above it for now. All right, so let's take a look here. History and today. It's returned a lot more than I thought it was going to be honest. A lot of the same stuff still, but some new ones too. So finding quite a bit that gapped up anyways. But still that same kind of sideways. Yeah, there's one. So, we're finding what we want, just not a lot of it right now. We're finding, unfortunately, we're not finding anything that also really tanked, which is encouraging too, I suppose. So, we're finding things that are either in lockstep with the market or did have a little move. This had a nice little move afterwards, 975, shot up to 940, 1040, excuse me. That's all right. Not too bad off that, 675, made our way up to 750. So, we've got some of what we want. We've got a lot of what we want, actually. This took a long time, so I wouldn't consider that really a win. Actually, 51. That's not bad actually at all, to be honest. There's been a little pain through there, but when you're talking $150 stock, not too shabby. Yep, that's exactly my idea, Robert. I wasn't really looking at high volume necessarily. I've kind of added high volume just because of the day we had today, to see how that might affect it. So, on a day like today, you had to be an alpha stock to be moving up. Otherwise, everybody's going to be in lockstep with either this or this, and if you get the picture, everything, the IWM, I guess, is the quote unquote winner today. So, but I wouldn't go trying to make this scan around market cap, to be honest. Then you're really kind of handcuffing yourself to different things there. So, the IWM being the Russell 2000. But, on a day like today, just, the entire market was sideways today. Uh, I'm looking, the close, the SPX is up, 2. The Nasdaq's up 80. And while that's, okay, I guess that came from a gap up. There was no move in the market really today after that gap up. So things, as we can see, look, this gapped up, came back down here and just had a, floppy range for the day. And that's what we're seeing in all the alerts that are coming through this on the day here, or most of them anyways. So like I said, the encouraging part is nothing just like completely gave it up after the alert, which I like, because it's always a bad feeling when you're looking at all these, I gave this alert and then just rolled right over after the alert. That's never a comfortable feeling. But they just kind of all in lockstep. So the idea of the volume behind it, Robert, was to find something not in lockstep with the market. Ride, not too shabby from Ride, 618. All right. Got right into the money right afterwards. So again, I feel like there's a lot of potential with this type of scan. It's something I've had on my mind for a long time. I just never really dove down. So I'm doing it with you all here. Yeah, that feature. What you could do is you could look at our stocks like this page. So just to circle back. Sorry, I'm just going off. So Sid here mentioned, a feature that you could check the alerts appear. Um, and good, great one. So what you could do is this. You could use our. Whoops, sorry, wrong button. We call it our stocks like this page here. And so if you were on our homepage and you looked on the top right side, you see support. And then when you come to that tab, you come to traders area and it's going to give you this page right here. I'm loading. I'm going to duplicate, bring over. And so this is our stocks like this page. So we could take this here and we could look at what was a good alert. What did we find that was a good alert? Well, Ride. All right, let's just take Ride, for example. Ride ends up being a decent alert, 618 off that. And so that Ride alert came in at 10:35. So we'll go 10:35, Ride. All right. And this is going to return to me every single statistic we have on Ride. So we'll start with this is every alert that it met. All right. Right through here at 10:35. And then this is everything that it had going on in it through here. All right. So, it's max and minimum price range, and it gives you a 5 minute clip. So that max and minimum is where it was in over that 5 minutes. So your dollar volume, that's a 10-day average on volume. Your relative volume, what that was today, your shares traded today. So, at that point, you traded between 17.4 and 17.8 mil shares traded today, so on and so forth. So what we could do is, yes, we could come and look at what the common denominator was here on this and then compare it. So, you're really diving down and doing some major analysis there. Definitely some leg work to do. But the tools are there for people to do that work if that's what they want to dive down into. And, if we have the filter and it return data, you're going to get it right here. So if you had a thought about a moving average that might affect this scan, you come right in here and look at, what we show you for different moving averages, bars and percents, the different time frames that we offer, so on and so forth. So, as I say many, many times, this is all puzzle, but you're not just given here are your only pieces. You put the puzzle together with those pieces. There's an infinite amount of pieces for you to put this puzzle together. Oh, come on, Perfect Circle. You had to know this existed. I feel like we've covered this before. No? I should give this more love. I don't use it that much. In all honesty, what I use a stocks like this page is when someone says, "Hey, my scan is broken. Stock XYZ didn't show up in it," and then I, ask for a link to the scan, and I take that link to the scan and I look at this and I say, "Nope, it didn't come because it didn't satisfy this filter." That's generally what I use the stocks like this page for, to be quite honest. All right, you didn't know that? Well, let's take this a step further. Okay, so we're looking at Ride. Let's build a scan just based on what happened in Ride today. All right. Um, what alert do we want to use? What's an alert that interests me? Mm, we said it came at 10:35. That's why that didn't. Well, I just want to make sure of something because I saw something that was all right. There's my 5 minute high at 10:35. All right, because I had it on 10:30 and it wasn't seeing 5 minute high, and I thought I had a data issue that I was going to have to go back and report. And I never like doing things like that. All right, trade above, trade below. You're already using a 5 minute high. So, all right, if anybody wonders what I'm doing here, is I'm going to build a scan based on what Ride was doing at 10:35 this morning before it took off. So let's use running up. All right. So we're going to check mark that. All right. Um, let's look at. Hmm, sorry, there's so many filters to choose from here. Let's go with a 5 minute percent volume. We're going to check that in here. All right. And what this is going to do is, so first off, as I build this alert, running up is going to be the alert catalyst. It's going to use a 5 minute volume filter with a minimum of 300% and a maximum of 307%, maximum of 542. What else can we look at? Something that's a significant item here. Well, let's look at its gap here on percent. All right, so we had a 16% gap up. I'm not sure that that's a great idea to put that in there. It's a hefty gap up, but we're throwing it in there all the same. All right, and what else can we look at here? Let's throw in a daily RSI filter, and let's find something, one more thing for good measure here. And again, if people have questions or they have an idea or they have a thought, they have a suggestion, that's what that questions panel is from. I'm doing this I'm shooting off the hip here on this. Mm, I'm gonna throw a short float in there. What the heck? All right. So now we've checked all those items. All right. And we're gonna go to, and it says copy configure to the window. So we're gonna copy this configure essentially. I've created an alert window now. All right. And this is all the stuff that I have done with it. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? All right, here we are. All right, so everything that's checked in here are the values that it's going to return. All right, so now we're going to see every stock that looked like Ride according to just those filters that I specifically selected and the alert. All right, so all that's there. Make sure we got this all set up here. All right, that's what we're looking at. All right, we called the window name is stocks like Ride. All right, now up here we have this big link. That's our collab link. All right, right click. We're going to copy that link. Now, we can come to new, an alert window. So I've just loaded a new alert window. All right, I'm bringing it over. It doesn't matter what it is. All right. So this is just a default new alert window, whatever was set in there. I right click. I come to collaborate. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to get rid of what's in here. I'm going to paste what I just copied from that. And bang. Stocks like Ride. All right. And being it doesn't have all the information that Ride had, we're getting nothing out of it. But if we come to the configure, everything that ride was doing at those times that we selected. All right. So here's all all those metrics are right there. All right. And even the selected alert running up. So, these are the things that we can do with this here. Now let's see. We can loosen some stuff up here. So it's 600. Just for fun, I'm messing with this to see what it might return here by making these not so tight on these filters. We don't want an exact 16% gap. We'll just call it a minimum 16% gap. And daily RSI, let's give it just a minimum. That short float, let's give it just a minimum. So I think having some of those maximums in there is what was holding us up here. And see if we return anything here. So that's what we're returning right now. So these stocks here had those criterias yesterday, as a matter of fact. So PUMB, Bed Bath & Beyond. All right, now we go back, we can see we're going back even further here because I selected all. But I think you're getting the picture here. What can be accomplished with this? So, for example, oftentimes we have someone that says, "Oh, I want to find stocks that made this huge spike, and then it pulled back like this, and then it made this move like this." And here's an example stock. ABC did this yesterday, and so we simply can come here to the stocks like this window and put in stock ABC, yesterday's date. Give me a time that you're looking for to have seen that alert. We get that 5-minute window, and that's where we hit. So that's the short and skinny with all that there on the stocks like this page. Holy cow, it's 4:22 my time already. When did that happen? So hopefully you guys got something out of that today. Demonstrating a little more of the platform, trying to make sure I do that instead of just going over charts. So I could use this to try and crack a better setting for divergence. An example of what I'm looking for. Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you could. You could do exactly that. 110%. So let's see here. I want to mess with this a little bit more here. I was really hoping to find something moving alpha. And we can start to see how we dive down a rabbit hole. All of a sudden, look at all these filters we've got going on in here now, What was I looking at? 1 minute volume. Let's see, we're doing 10 times 1 minute volume just for fun. There we get ride coming in there. We also get ride coming in later too. So you get ride at different prices because of the 5-minute high alert. And that's the issue with the 5-minute high that I have been running into a little bit. I'm not crazy about. Now, if we on history, if you have it, you're going to see all the alerts that come through. Where if you had it on set for don't repeat, you wouldn't see it for that amount of time. YouTube said thanks, appreciate it. Please pop back in. Said anybody coming in here throwing out ideas, sharing things with us. That's what we're all about in here for this. So thanks. I really appreciate you coming in and sharing and commenting and questioning. All right, again, trying to find some different stuff. But sorry, what is hitting on is the 5-minute high. So that's why, again, I've been really experimenting with some different alerts lately. I was kind of a one-trick pony for a long time on scans that I built, and sometimes you get tunnel vision, myself included. And I was really kind of stuck on looking at mostly new high, new lows for my alerts. There's so much in here for the alert, the catalyst itself. And I'm more of an alert window person during the live trading hours. I'm more of a topless person doing my homework afterwards. Um, that's just kind of my 2 cents on all that. No perfect circle. That's why I said my double disclaimer on back testing. Now all of a sudden you add back testing with the stocks like this page, you'll never sleep. I mean, that's things that have happened to me, and that's without the stocks like this page. Um, with someone that's looking for narrow ranges and things like that, here your narrow range. All right, so 7 bars on the narrow range. So 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minute, 15, 30 minutes. And you get your wide ranges here. I just, touch on this fast. The heartbeat. Heartbeat's a very old function of trade ideas. It still serves some behind the scenes purposes, but essentially it was replaced by the top list. Top list update every 30 seconds. The original heartbeat was a 5 minute pulse. So every 5 minutes, it'd send a pulse out to the servers, returning you every stock that met the filters on that. So every 5 minutes, that's what you got. It's just every stock that met it. It doesn't update like a top list does, though, where the top list will cycle on and off. It'll just every 5 minutes, boom, here's all the stocks that meet, and it'll keep a running total for the entire day up until you get a thousand hits, and then the oldest ones will come off and the newest ones will come on because the window can only hold 1,000 items at once. You can change the heartbeat to, I believe, a minimum of 30 seconds, but you can't get faster than 30 seconds. So, I get the appeal why people want to use the heartbeat still. Now, there's still data functions that happen behind the scenes and starting up a pre-market data with the heartbeat. Um, and that's why it's still there anyways. Also, there's, people that probably, 5, 10 years ago that built scans that involved the heartbeat. And we weren't just going to take the heartbeat away from them and say, now you have to use a top list. If a heartbeat is what they, whatever, built their trading plan and strategy on. So, that's why that's left like that, anyways. But if you insist on using the heartbeat, by all means, use it. I think a top list is better. It works better for me. I've never used trade ideas without a top list. I came into trade ideas after top list function had come in. So that's just kind of how that kind of works. The short and skinny of all of that. Again, anybody has questions or comments, fire them away. It's almost 4:30. Usually I wrap up around 4:30. If someone's keeping me engaged for a moment here, I will stick around for a few extra minutes. If not, I will wrap up at 4:30. Fibonacci's, I never dove much into those. At some point, like everything else, I'd like to learn everything. So probably hit some Fibonacci's at some point. Andy had shared a scan with me long ago that he said was a decent Fibonacci scan. I have never, ever looked at it other than I have it. Let's see. I'll share it with you all. So Fibonacci retracements, share. So if feeling ambitious, that's something that Andy built for a Fibonacci retracement. And now you have access to it. So that's that. So all right, I'm going to take the last 90 seconds here, roughly, just jump around the market really fast. So here's our SPY real fast. Let's zoom on out. Doing what I said more or less would be healthy. Doesn't, just because I say something doesn't mean anything. The market's going to do whatever the market wants to do, or the people buying and selling that are really moving the market. But, we got extended. We moved up. I said it wouldn't be too bad if we made a move back into the 20 moving average here. Be a healthy move backwards. Glad you found it informative, perfect circle. We added a few new things for you today, so drive you nuts. Appreciate that. Thank you. We try. We're not perfect. We don't always. Sometimes we may not convey what we're trying to say the best, and I understand that through text things get lost. And that's why I opted to do this live here. So there's more tone involved in what we're doing here. I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm trying to be mean or condescending or anything like that. Like I said, I want everybody to succeed using trade ideas. I want everybody to get out of trade ideas what I got out of trade ideas. Anyways, So, like I said, with the SPY, gotta get some catch up. You can't just be up all the time. And I don't know, something like 17 and 19 sessions were up. I'm not going to count them out here, but I think pretty clear here before we start moving sideways that's a whole lot of green busting through to all time highs there. So it's very reasonable that we would have some sort of pullback, sideways movement with that. Um, Obviously, some inflation data comes out yesterday. Personally, CPI is garbage because it really doesn't account for anything that everyday people buy, but it is what it is. It's the metric that for some reason people listen to. A little more of a drop here on the Qs, trying to catch that 20 moving average. So there's some healthy stuff here. Like I said, can't just be all up, 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 up. IWMs. I've spent a little more time on those recently. Going to again here. Got that big range that I keep hammering about that began back here. We finally busted out of it here. Do we break out of it long term? I don't know. Is that just a whoopsie and we're headed right back into that range? Again, I don't know. But we're trying to find these constructive things here with pivot lines, moving averages, and that's what we do. Set ourselves up into the best possible scenario for what we're trading and why we're trading it. So, it's a harsh U-turn right there on the IWM. And I said it wouldn't be so bad to come and test this. All right. Do we test it and it's a whoopsie and right back up? Or was this a test of this and it's a whoopsie and right back down into that range? We'll see over the coming days. Santa Claus rallies on deck. Is Santa Claus coming to town? I don't know. We'll find out how that all works out. But again, this is a very, very big level in the IWMs here and those small cap stocks that you are or are not trading or invested in. Diamond super fast. Same idea here. Feel like it's a little more orderly here, the selling off in the Dow than it was in the Qs. I feel like the Qs are a little more fast paced, but the Qs are also faster up, so they're faster down. Related to something in science, water takes a long time to boil, takes a long time to cool down. You move up real fast, you can be sure you can move down real fast. Same kind of thing. You move up real slow, you're probably moving down real slow. Range and relativity. RSP, your real market, in my opinion. Your equally weighted SPY, and we're just kind of floundering around up here. Nothing major to write home about. In fact, it's really trended up on the day today after this gap up here. So that's, in my opinion, your real market. All right. Trended up on the day here today. All right. So, make of that what you will. And the last one I want to comment on, for some reason, MDY. I have such a tough time remembering this one. A little more selling off on this than the RSP, but same idea here. An up day for this, all right? And I think this is more of the market than the SPY is the market, all right? So gap up, just kind of trended on that gap up for the day. Nothing major, no home runs are hit on it, but constructive day as far as I'm concerned with that, as far as that goes. So that's, quick market shot there. You can see here real fast on the sector list here, TANs, KWeb. I told you that the winds I felt like were changing on silver. I don't really know if they are or aren't. It's funny though, because you got your silver junior miners look good there. Your silver miners here look good again here, but then you see this, and I talk about disconnects. All right, so this got crushed here. Absolutely crushed today, but the silver is up today. Silver miners are up and this got crushed. Here's another one. All right. That is not healthy, so that you want to talk about divergences there, there's a divergence in silver and silver stocks or silver mining index and silver mining stocks. Now, obviously there must be some silver miners that were up. SSRM, let's take a look there. I know this is gold, but I relate this more to silver, to be honest. Now, this was up and off to the races today, so maybe that's what was holding that up while the others were not. I know earnings have been reported on some of these, so it's obviously going to bear some effect. But, and last thing I'm going to hit, and then I'm going to wrap it up since no other questions are coming in. The KWeb, I discussed, China, a whole bunch. I have not been a believer in them. Now we get a couple of days. Yesterday was a gap up day. Let's zoom both of these here. So yesterday we gapped up in the K web. We came back down here. We didn't. That's just a terrible line, Chris. We didn't quite fill the gap, but we moved up and kind of tested here, and then moved right back up again off where that gap was. We didn't test the low of the day yesterday, though. We tested the opening of the day yesterday. All right. Today we gapped up again. We moved. So are the winds changing in China? I don't know. I'm not a believer yet, but we get another day like that, and that'll quickly change my mind. Um, the thing that kept me from believing in anything China is this right here. Every time we've seen the K web try to get up, get smacked right back down. All right. So, are we moving up? Time will tell. For now, we're definitely back. We're in a lower range than we've been in previously with the K web, and we take the bigger snapshot out. What's your time frame? I don't know. All right, but K web's in that range for quite a while now. Going back to midsummer-ish. All right. Like I said, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now, are we putting in a range to build out of? The argument could certainly be made for that. I could buy that argument. I could buy into that argument. Am I rushing right out to buy China internet stocks? I am not. Will I change my mind tomorrow morning if that starts to gap up? You better believe I will. So, that's the short and skinny as far as I'm concerned. All right, I'm going to cut it up here. Appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate the questions, the comments, the interactions. Appreciate you sticking around. Appreciate the likes if you do that too. And we will wrap this all up for the week tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern here. So for anybody that's jumped in and out or first time or not really sure what's going on, it's Trade Idea Software. Do live Q&A for it every day at 3:30. This live stream here opens every single day at 9 Eastern. Barry opens it every day at 9 Eastern. He runs it till 12. He gives it up for an hour at 12 Eastern for a live Q&A similar to what I'm doing here. Takes it back from 1 to 3. 3 to 3:30 Eastern, we let the stream rest, and then I open it back up. So, and again, if anybody has after-hour stuff, info at trade-ideas.com. All right, you hit us up there. That's the email address. All right, you get me, Steffi, Steve, Andy, Jamie. Someone after hours will chime in for you. The more complex question, the more time it'll probably take. But we get back to you that way just as much as we get back to you anywhere else. So again, all right, thank you everybody. Jump back in here with Barry at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and have yourself a very green Friday right up until I see you, when hopefully it'll be extra green by 3:30 Eastern tomorrow. Take care. Have a great rest of your Thursday.